If you are fat, if you are obese, you qualify to be modern. Like, we just got to start being honest here. I'm not going to pay all the bills for my wife to be at home fat and on the couch. I'm not doing that.
Okay.
Listen, let's do this. You can't be a fatso talking about you want a traditional man.
Yo, you killing me. Yo, first of all.
You cannot do that.
Do you put that responsibility on yourself as well?
Of course.
So let me ask you a question. You said that you have quite a bit of weight on.
I'm a bigger man. But this is the thing too. Women do not judge men based off how they look.
That's not entirely true. That's not entirely true.
No. Because
ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Introspect Club, a club where you can learn a lot about yourself through conversations with other people. My name is Jeff Damisse, and I'll be your host. Today, we have a very, very interesting conversation with a very interesting guest. We're going to be talking about relationship types, right? There's been a lot of controversy online, especially with the whole rise of Kevin Samuels, so on and so forth, about the discussion around traditional relationships, as well as like high value in people, how that's defined. I want to get into that. And I have a particular individual who feels very strongly on one end of the spectrum, but I'm always fascinated about people who have very adverse positions from, I guess, the typical public opinion. And it's always good to learn from those people, because I'm not typically closed-minded, and I want people to be open-minded on this whole conversation. And I want to learn a little bit, and I'm hoping everybody can learn with me. So without further ado, I want to introduce my next guest, the one and only Gabe from the Ultimate Black Man Radio Podcast. How you doing, man? How you doing? Welcome.
good, brother.
How you feeling?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Chilling. Just having a good time.
Good.
I would be sipping some liquor right now, but I'm trying not to be an alcoholic. I'm sipping some water.
I feel you on that. Sometimes you need it.
I don't know if I want to say I need it, but anyway, it's too early today for me to be sipping on that.
Right.
You're based out of Memphis, right?
That is correct.
Memphis. All right. Give everybody a little tidbit about who you are, what you're about, what message you're trying to convey overall, so we can get started with the conversation. All right.
Sure. So again, my name is Gabe, and I'm the host and creator of the Ultimate Black Man Radio Podcast and YouTube channel, where I try my best to bridge the relationship gap between Black men and Black women. I did not start off in this space like a lot of other coaches, advisors, whatever you want to call them.
Okay.
I actually started out doing pro-Black content. So I did content centered around like trying to help Black folks move forward, fighting social injustices, racial inequality, things like that. I've hosted movie screenings. I've been to marches,
Right.
all that fun stuff. Right.
Okay.
But it wasn't until I read the ISIS papers by Dr. Frances Cress Welsing and Dr. Claude Anderson's books, Powernomics and Black Labor, White Wealth, that I realized that if Black people were to move forward, we have to fix our love life. A lot of our issues are tied to the family dynamics. Dr. Claude Anderson always says that in order for Black people to move forward, we have to form a community. And if all a community is, when you look at community, it's a collective of families and businesses. And when you look at family, a family is a man, woman, and their legacy, which are the children.
Okay.
And at the bottom floor, if Black people cannot fix their family dynamics, everything else does not matter. You can't stop white supremacy. You can't stop racism. You can't stop gentrification. You can't stop redlining. You can't stop prison pipeline. The prison pipeline. You can't stop any of that until you fix your family dynamics. So once I read those books, and I took that information, that's what got me into relationships. I worked with Nicole Michelle for a while and building up her platform at the Inner Beauty Movement. Shout out to her. And then I just she encouraged me to kind of do my own thing, and that's what I focus on. I focus on helping young Black people, mainly 35 and under, fix their relationship life, their love life, so they can have a healthy family dynamic.
So let's talk about that, right? So you talk about the Black men and women, their relationship dynamics. I happen to know that you're very, very pro traditional relationships, right?
That's correct.
I want you in your own words to kind of define what that means. Like, give me an example or just a definition of, from your point of view, what you consider the traditional relationship and why you think that is of value to people today, especially in, I guess, in the Black community. But let's just speak in generalities here.
Sure. So, the traditional dynamic, traditional marriage, right? Traditional relationship is where the man is the primary breadwinner and the woman basically stays home and her primary focus is the home. So that's the husband, the house, cleaning the house, cooking, and the children.
Okay.
She does not contribute financially to the household
at all.
So, at all. No, she don't contribute anything to the household.
I'm gonna assume she doesn't have a job.
No, she does not. She might have a business. She might have she may invest in Shiba Inu or Cardano or Bitcoin or Ethereum. She might have some passive income, but for the most part, she's not going to be contributing to the household at all. The man is going to be the
So why would she invest in Bitcoin if she's not contributing to anything? What is she using that money for?
So if she's not contributing to the household, women like to have passive income. Y'all know, like, y'all women love spending a little money. And if the man is taking care of the house, what if she wants a new handbag?
I mean, if the man is supposedly taking care of the household, he should be taking care of the handbag, in your opinion.
A lot of men can do that, but it should not be his primary responsibility to make sure she got a Gucci handbag and this man is paying all the bills. So if she has passive income, she can do several things with that. If she has an expensive handbag habit, she can buy her handbags. If she wants a nice car, hey, she can go buy her car if she wants.
So he's just paying bills. He's not paying for luxuries, you're saying?
Yeah, he's paying bills. He's not paying for luxuries. But
if a woman does not own a business while raising kids, while doing, like, taking care of the household, while, like, taking care of the man, if she doesn't have a business, she has no access to any luxury pleasures if the man is not paying for it.
Maybe not as much as others, but and I want to make this clear. Just because you're in a traditional dynamic doesn't mean you gotta suffer.
I mean, it sounds like you're saying that if she doesn't work, she's completely dependent on the man financially, and you're saying the man doesn't have to buy her anything that is of any pleasure. It should come from her if has a side business.
Yeah, he does not.
Right, but you're saying if she's doing all those things, right? Mm-hmm. And then you're working and you're contributing to the household, you can choose as a man to not treat her in that way. Is that what you're saying? So,
not necessarily. Okay. I'm saying that should not be your primary focus. If the man now, and this is from from what I study and from what I talk to women, what they tell me. Okay. A woman only wants to be comfortable. There's this premise going around that women want all these Louis, Gucci's, Fendi. A lot of sisters don't want. A lot of women in general don't really want all that. If you put them in a decent house, you pay the bills on time, get her just a decent car. It don't have to be no Benz, no Beamer. Get her a decent car, give her an allowance of some kind, small allowance, and put her in a decent neighborhood.
It sounds like you're talking about a kid you sending to college.
No, I'm talking about your wife, because as a man, it's your duty as a man to make sure your wife is taken care of financially. Too many of these dudes run around here. They want submission and cooperation, but they don't want to pay that cost to be the boss. You got to pay for that. Cooperation and submission is not free. A lot of men get that confused. You have to pay for that woman to fall in line. Now, if you want to do a modern dynamic and you want her to work, that's cool. She does not have to submit to you. You got to submit to each other. That has to be, it's more like a team dynamic. So let's just say,
you don't subscribe to that. So let's talk about that real quick, right? So there's millions of women that are graduating with degrees with, like, the, pursuit of, some type of career, some type of, like, income earning trajectory in their life, right? So are you saying to those women who want to have the most optimal relationship or the most effective, are you saying that does not add any value to a relationship because they should be staying at home anyway? Is that what you're saying?
So no, what I'm saying is a lot of women would not qualify to be traditional anyway. They're too mean, they're too hard, and they don't listen. It takes a special person, a special woman to actually qualify for a traditional relationship anyway. What I'm presenting is this.
Okay.
There are other options for Black women. A lot of people tell Black women that they have to work, they have to contribute, they have to be work mules, they have to work 50 hours a week, come home, take care of the kids, take care of the house, clean up, do the chores, and still have sex with their husband. What I'm saying is there are other options. Instead of putting all your time and effort for a boss, you can put your time and effort at home and make sure your husband's good, make sure your kid is good, and make sure your home is functioning properly for the betterment of the collective. That's just another option. And too many of our sisters are not presented with their option. They're only told that their only value is to go to school and work and contribute to the house financially. But there are other options, and sisters need to be made aware of that option. And I feel a traditional marriage is the optimal option that a lot of sisters aren't presented.
Right. So let's say there are women who are presented with that traditional option, because I'm pretty sure it's not foreign to them, right? Mm-hmm. It might not be something they're accustomed to seeing or doing, but they understand what that is because there's people who talk about it. They probably come from, traditional household to some degree, some of them. But let's say they choose to go to college, choose to have a career. Yeah. Are you saying that is a detriment to the community if they do that? Okay. So if that's the case, is there a reason why you don't also like celebrate and congratulate the women that do go to school and like want to contribute to the household? Like, is there a reason you don't push for that also?
Yeah, I don't. So let me be clear. It's a good thing if a woman goes to college. I'm not these content creators that tell women, oh, don't go to college because a man ain't gonna marry you. No. In fact, if you go to school and you have a degree and you know different languages and you know how to budget and you know how to manage accounts, that actually adds value to a man who's looking for someone who's traditional. That adds value.
No. Aside from the man who's looking for a traditional, right? I'm just saying in general, right? Because it sounds like that the degrees and the things that a woman is learning in school, you're making it seem as though those are assets to be an employee at home, right? Like budgeting and all this other stuff, right? But let's say for instance, if the value was she also goes to work, she also is doing something she's passionate about, and you guys are doubling the amount of resources you can supply to the household, and if you can manage your time correctly, you can spend adequate time with the family, because there's a lot of people that work from home or work remote or they have a business, but like the kids are old enough where they don't need to be home the whole time. You know what I mean? So do you push for that also, or are you saying like you don't push for that at all?
No, because there's been this lie that Black women can do it all, and they simply cannot. You cannot do it all. You cannot have it all. A lot of our sisters are tired. Okay. They're tired. Okay. So plain and simple. They're tired. They have to go out and work all these long hours and then come home and then work again. Just time out for that. That's why I don't push modern dynamics, because a lot of these sisters say, well, I want to contribute financially. Then they come in my rooms and on my channel and on my podcast. And when we do one-on-ones, when they're 35 and 40 years old, talking about how tired they are. Let's be honest. Black women lead this country in obesity, and they lead this country in heart disease. That's because they're overworked and underappreciated. That's why I push traditionalism versus being in a modern dynamic, because being in those modern dynamics, there are too many negatives. The women are overworked. The kids are neglected. We wonder why our kids are always abused, being molested, being taken advantage of, because there's
that's a very extreme. That's a very extreme outcome for.
No, it is not, because a lot of our kids are victims in our communities. We wonder why when we go to these schools, these white folks are doing any and everything to our kids. It's because nobody is there to watch over those kids and protect those children. That's why I push for traditional dynamics, because to everybody else is working, trying to provide, put a roof over their head. But how about if we just, instead of the 8,000 square foot home, we get a 3,000 or 4,000 square foot home, a parent stays home, which should be the wife, and the man works, and the woman can pour into those children and make sure those children are covered and protected.
Now, okay. So what about a scenario where both the man and woman are working and they somehow manage the time between the two of them to take care of the kids, where they're both contributing to the household? Because like you said, let's say the black woman is being told she has to do it all. So what if you put both parents in a position where they have to contribute to all, right? They're both working, they're both raising kids, right? And they're both managing their time so they can, I guess, for the lack of a better word, equally have contribution. Is that not something you advocate for, or are you? No. Why is that?
Because men usually don't contribute to the household.
They usually don't, mainly because that's what, like, you're socializing them, specifically in this conversation. You're saying they should be going to work, right? So guess what? When you say they should be going to work, guess what? They won't be doing. They won't be contributing to the household. But if you hold on, if you open the door, right, and you give people an option, or you give people a choice, and create whatever dynamic works for them, because there's instances, I'll be honest with you, there's instances where the guy, let's say he's a high income earner, or he's just a moderate income earner, but he doesn't even go to an office. He does a lot of stuff from home, right? And then she goes to work, right? And they're making a boatload of money, right? But the guy is more available to be home with the children. Obviously, he's not home breastfeeding, but the breastfeeding age, evaporates after a certain period of time. So would you advocate for that?
No.
Why is that? Why is that?
Men, studies show, even when men, quote unquote, want to contribute, they don't. Women, by and large, still, even when both parents are working and a man says, okay, I'll help contribute, I'll help watch after the kids, they still don't. The woman, by and large, still has to do most of the domestic duties. Men are not going to get
So why don't we fix that? So why not fix that problem instead of just
men are not going to do it.
Okay.
Men are not going to do it.
So what about women who are not going to stay home? Like, can we just accept that?
Sure. Listen, my message isn't for everybody.
Sure.
What I push is for really, honestly, a small minority.
Okay.
You have to look a certain way. You have to weigh a certain amount.
Ooh.
You have to. You have
hold
to.
Up. Yeah. Hold up. Time out. You're saying, okay, hold on. So you're saying for a woman to qualify for a modern relationship, I don't know if you mean women and men, but I'm assuming when you're talking about weigh a certain amount, are you talking about women?
Yes.
So let's talk about that. So are you saying in order for a woman to qualify for a traditional relationship where she stays home and be a caretaker for her kids and be a wife to a husband as a traditional housewife, she has to weigh a certain amount? What is the weight limit?
Because
for a woman who wants to be a traditional.
Now, listen, I don't have an exact number, but I'll say this: she needs to be a size 10 or under. Now, there are some women that stay home that are above a size 10. There are.
Okay.
I'm not saying there aren't, but for the most part.
How did you come up with that number?
Because, size 10, a lot of people, that's like the pinnacle. Like, once you get past size 10, they consider that like obese. So when you start talking size 12, 14, which again, those women are getting married too. And some of those women are able to be traditional as well. I'm just saying, across the board, if a man is going to pay all your bills,
okay,
and have you staying at home and provide for you, he wants you to look a certain way. And he wants you normally to be under a size 10. I know myself. I prefer my woman under a size 10.
And which men are you referring to? Because there are men who
traditional men.
Hold on. There are certain men, whether they're traditional or not, that have certain taste in quality in women that might not fall under the realm of like sizes per se, right? Especially if they're, from any culture where that is not as much of a factor to them, or at least their personal taste. Now, do women, typically have more value in their environment by being in good shape in general, especially for health reasons? Sure, absolutely. But I think to qualify that as this is what you need to be a traditional wife versus, okay, if you need to remain a certain proportion in size for your health, I can see that. But if you're saying that's the only way you're going to be a traditional wife, you're saying if you're not that, you only qualify to be in a modern relationship?
If you are fat, if you are obese, you qualify to be modern. Like, we just got to start being honest here. I'm not going to pay all the bills for my wife to be at home fat and on the couch. I'm not doing that.
Okay.
Listen, let's do this. Look at any Fortune 500 company, throw a dart, pick one, look up their CEO, and then look up their wife.
Okay.
9 times out of 10, out of that whole 550 of those women might be obese. The other 450, they're going to be a size 10 or under. Guaranteed. You can try this. So a lot of women are saying they want those high earning men, those traditional men. Well, there's a cost to that too. You can't be a fatso talking about you want a traditional man.
Yo, you killing me. Yo, first of all,
can I do that? Men that make
okay. All right, so here's the deal. Here's where I'll give you some rope, right? Here's where I'll give you some leeway, right?
All right.
I think the only location where I'll agree with you, like somewhat, is that when you're a man who is of means, right? Mm-hmm. When you have certain like access to women, access to finances and resources, you are going to be given a certain amount of options.
Right.
Absolutely. Right. You're going to be given a certain amount of options. You're going to have a certain amount of qualities that you're going to be exposed to, where you're going to be given a lot of choice. And for a woman who wants a man who has a certain amount of income or a certain amount of stature, that woman is going to be competing with a lot of other women.
Absolutely.
Right? And the competition, if it's based on looks, if it's purely based on looks, then I agree with you that like you can't be like obese. Putting a number on it, I wouldn't necessarily do that because, again, some people have certain taste that don't necessarily qualify based on size. It could be sometimes, there are people, regardless of how much money they make, they like bigger women. I'm not qualifying that as like that should be the standard of any kind. I'm only looking at weight based on a health thing, right? If I see a woman, I like a woman who's athletic looking. I don't need you to be a twig either, right? I like an athletic looking woman because I like to know that you're taking care of yourself, you're being healthy, and you're contributing to your life in that way, and you're going to prolong your life and how healthy you are when raising kids and so on and so forth. And I'm going to be contributing the same way. But to say that if you are a size 10 or above, you don't qualify to be a traditional wife, I think that's an unfair statement, especially if after you have kids.
I know it hurts.
It's not about her. It's not about hers. It's not about hers. Hear me out. Listen, hear me out. Gabe.
I don't care.
Gabe. And I'm not asking you to care. Here's the deal. So let's say you get a woman who's a size 10.
Okay.
She's a size 10, right? Now you put her in the she's in a traditional household category. Right? She has kids or she has a health condition, right?
Okay.
And she gains weight and she's fighting to keep her weight down, but it's next to impossible. Are you saying she now has to get a job because she's overweight? Is that what you're saying?
She better listen. These are anomalies here, but if she has kids, she better put the Popeyes down and pick up, a keto diet or a vegan plan. Listen, my good sister Sasha, shout out to her. You get with her. She's a vegan coach. Listen, I've seen too many women that are stay-at-home wives. Come on now. Let's think about this. When you go to your upscale neighborhood in your city, who do you see you normally running around the neighborhood?
What are you talking about? Who do I see running around the neighborhood?
Who do you see running around the neighborhood? If you go to the upscale part of your city, who do you see running around the neighborhood in the middle of the day?
What response are you looking for? Because I'm not sure. I see people.
That's fine. I'll help you. It's stay-at-home moms. They're always emphasizing pushing the carriage. They're all because they understand. Look, my man is out here making all this money. He has me at home. The least I can do is stay in shape for him. And if you cannot do that, you no longer qualify for that man. We have to start being honest about that. Men do not want to listen, I'm not finna go out here making $300,000-$500,000 a year and I come home to a slob. I'm not doing that. Most men think that way. Most men think that way. And see, I'm the only one that comes, and I'm a bigger guy, but I'm the only one that's actually being vocal about it because I have mentors that make 7 and 8 figures that teach me because I trade. And when we have off discussions about this, they talk about how my wife was starting to pick up weight. I bought her a gym membership. Shout out to Tiffany. She said that she started picking up weight. Her husband bought her a gym membership. She's in my traditional housewife room. I've had those men want their women to be tip top, and it doesn't matter about kids, health conditions. We can go get that look at it. We can go look at that because I have the money. But kids are not an excuse. Health conditions are not an excuse. No more excuses. If I'm paying the cost to be the boss, I need for you to look good for me at all times because you are a reflection of me.
Let me ask you a question. Do you put that responsibility on yourself as well?
Of course.
So let me ask you a question. You said that you have quite a bit of weight on. I'm not sure what that looks like or what size.
I'm a bigger man. But this is the thing too. My women do not judge men based off how they look.
That's not entirely true. That's not entirely true.
No. Because how many big dudes have you seen? Come on now. Have you seen my exes are gorgeous, but okay. I earned money. I took care of them.
Okay.
I paid that cost to be the boss. And if I'm out here earning this kind of money, right? If I'm out here putting in this kind of work, I want a trophy. I go get that. I qualify. My wallet qualifies me for 8s, 9s, and 10s.
I feel
not
you.
necessarily how I look.
Okay, so let me give you this perspective, right? So let's say you make, I don't know, let's say you make $1 million a year, whatever that number is. I don't care.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? And then another guy makes $1 million a year. Okay. Right? And I don't know what exact shape you're in, but you're saying that it shouldn't matter at all. So let's say you got two people who are making $1 million a year, right?
Okay.
And a woman who is of stature physically has to choose between guy A and guy B. One is in extremely good shape, right? In good shape, good stature, so on and so forth. And one is obese or out of shape in whatever capacity. Mm-hmm. Are you saying that she's going to qualify both men equally because they both make $1 million a year?
Sure. Now, if it came down to one dude is a little more physically attractive.
I'm not talking about little. I'm talking about some person is out of shape, obese, and one person is in shape.
Of course, she'll go with the other.
Okay, so that's my point. So if you are a man, regardless of how much money you make, you have to hold yourself to a particular physical standard as well to some degree. Probably not as much as the woman, because guys are physical. But to say that it doesn't matter how in shape you are, that's why I'm saying, do you hold yourself to that standard if you're putting that pressure on your woman? Like if you're the type of dude where you're like, you're in shape, you're working, or at least you're working out, you're getting yourself there, you're pay attention to your health, and then you want a woman with that same type of like mindset, and you want her to, go on that journey with you because that's part of your bonding, and as well as like that's part of you taking care of each other. Then I'm like, I get it. But if you're sitting at home as a dude and you're not taking care of yourself, you're a whole slob, and you're telling her you're out of shape, go to the gym, but you over here eating donuts and cookies, like to me that's unrealistic. Like what are we doing?
You're being a little extra. I didn't say all that. Now, I'm not saying the dude should let themselves go. I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I'm just saying that a woman, for the most part, is not going to qualify you because you got some pounds on you. I'm telling you, someone who is heavier. Women aren't like, and I've had women tell me they wanted me to lose weight, and we work on that. But for the most part, they're looking at what I bring to can I provide? Can I protect her? That's what she's looking at for the most part. Men aren't looking for that in a woman. That's why a woman who's overweight, it's a double standard. Is it fair? No, but oh well.
Listen, I understand that it is potentially a double standard to a certain degree, but we can't ignore the fact that women have visual cues that they look at as well.
They do.
Because hold on. Because when you strip the money away, here's the deal. Right? Mm-hmm. When you strip the money away, because you could be a guy with a lot of money, right? And you're out of shape, and you can't even have like the proper like sexual experience with her because you out of breath, you out of shape, all this stuff. Hold on. I'm not saying you specifically. I know. I'm saying in general. I'm just saying. So I know a lot of stories and I've seen these things firsthand where a woman is with a guy who has a lot of money, right? But she's having sex with the pool boy. Okay, she has a side piece because she's getting pleased by the big dude or by the out of shape or the not so attractive dude, but with the Gucci bag, with the Louis, but she still has the urges to like be satisfied by somebody who is viscerally attractive to her, right? But socially, she's gonna want the money, right? Because she marries the money, she has sex with the stud. Right. So you got to be careful when we're talking about what that double standard looks like.
Can we be honest too? Smart women aren't run by their vaginas and their sexual urges. We got to come on here now. Let's talk real game. If a woman is smart, she is not driven by her sexual primal urges. That's actually masculine energy. She's motivated by how she can be protected, how her kids can be protected. So if she has all those things, but the dude might run out of breath while they getting it in, she's not going to hold that against him because it's in her nature to give the man a chance who is providing and protecting for her. One more thing, a woman who is a true to the game freak ain't gonna care how big you are. She's going to get hers from you. I'll leave it at that.
Listen. Whether a woman is a freak or not, at the end of the day, there are things they're attracted to. Okay, I've been in a multitude of rooms. Hold on, I've been in a multitude of rooms. Right, I'm not gonna speak on no names. I've been in rooms where a woman is with a man. Right, that I don't know what their dynamic is, what their relationship is, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say I was better looking than her dude. Okay. Just going to go out on a limb. And I've had instances where the woman is, either when the dude's not looking or in front of the dude will be flirting with me. Okay. Now I don't know their dynamic. I don't fully know what it is they have an agreement to in their relationship. I'm not going to make those assumptions, but I think that happens enough times where even if she's with a guy that she's in a relationship with, because the woman doesn't know how much money I make or how much I made at the time when whatever, she just saw something that she liked. So she was engaging with me in a very flirtatious way, regardless if she had a man. So what I'm saying is, regardless of how much money you make, and I say this to all guys, if you lead with your money, right? Okay. The other things that are valuable to a woman, you're going to overlook that and you're going to get screwed by just getting a woman who's attracted to your money and the other stuff that matters to her, which she might not communicate because she doesn't want to throw the money away. She's going to get it from somewhere else and it's likely not going to be you.
Okay.
And if you're cool with that, then that's fine. But just know that that's a possibility.
Well, this is the thing. I teach men in my room. They have to be thorough. Meaning you have to have a well-rounded game. Okay. So you can't just have money. You got to have a personality.
Okay.
You have to have some kind of sex appeal. Some kind.
Okay.
And you can be a bigger guy and have sex appeal. You can be real fly.
You could.
Right? So you have to be thorough. I use that word a lot. Thorough meaning the game is well-rounded. I'm not saying, yeah, man, I make all this money. But just like you said, for every man you've seen with money, he get cheated on. I didn't say every. I'm just saying that that's a possibility. And I think that possibility is higher when the man is not elevating himself in other parts of his life. That's what I'm saying. I've seen women cheat on men who didn't have anything with men that do.
But you're feeding my point. The point is, don't just be a good looking guy. Don't just be a wealthy guy. And I agree. So you got to be able to come with everything. So when you're telling women that they got to be, below a certain size and so on and so forth, you got to add that same, push to men because they're equally being like, I don't want to say equally, but they're being qualified in a multitude of ways as well. So I don't want to ignore that and just put it all on the women.
Women can fall in love with a bigger man.
I'm not saying they can't.
Someone who is, I have women to this day that love me. I talked with an ex the other day and she told me she loved me.
Okay.
But men, on the other hand, it's hard for a man who has seen you at a size 6 love you the same at a size 14, 18, or 20. It is what it is. I know that it sucks, but this is the game. And this is what you got to play by these rules. So I'm not saying you have to look like a supermodel. I'm not saying that.
Okay.
And if you got a little fupa, men ain't gonna work. We'll slap that and say we love you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not being that petty. But when you start to let yourself go, that's a problem. Because again, you are a reflection of, how many men I know that are real thorough brothers, but they wife let themselves go, and how people, they judge him based off what his wife looked like.
I mean,
you can lose business deals like that. You can lose connections like that because your woman represents you. See what I'm saying?
So let me ask you a question. Do you have kids?
No kids.
Okay.
No kids.
So if you had a daughter, right?
Sure.
And then you had a son as well, right? Would you push your son differently academically compared to your daughter?
No.
Okay. So, let's talk about that, right? So let's say you have a daughter who wants to pursue a career in engineering.
Okay.
Very demanding field, right? Yeah. That's going to require a lot of her time, energy, and focus, which kind of contradicts what she'll be able to do if she were to become a traditional housewife. Okay. So knowing that, I'm assuming you're going to advocate for your daughter to be a traditional housewife.
Oh yeah, she will be.
Okay. So the amount of focus and energy that she is going to be putting in her career might contradict the energy she would be putting into being a traditional housewife, right? Okay. So in what way are you going to be pushing her to both be a traditional housewife and be pushing and advocating for her when she wants to be an engineer?
Sure. So my daughter's going to be getting a lot of game.
She's going to be getting a lot of game. Okay.
A lot of game. When she turns 10, I'm going to start pouring into her.
Okay.
As far as relationships go. And of course she'll see me and my wife.
Okay.
How that dynamic works.
Okay.
But when she turns 18, we'll have a discussion. I'll be like, look, sweetheart, baby girl. A lot of these dudes out here ain't ish, right?
Okay.
And as your father, as long as I have breath in my body, I'm going to ensure that you're okay. I'm going to ensure that you're fine. I'm going to love you. I'm going to protect you. And if you need anything, daddy's going to be here.
Okay.
However, in the event I do leave, and I'm no longer here. And while you go through your college journey, you need to get some type of education. So while you're out here on your own, you can cover yourself. You can take care of yourself.
Sure.
You can provide for yourself, because we are in a society that's not going to baby you or take care of you.
Okay.
However, as you take that time to get your education, to get your skills, to get your certifications, your degrees, I want you to put just as much effort into your schooling as you are looking for a husband, just like your father, who took care of his wife, made sure all the bills were paid, and that allowed you to rest in your femininity. Your divine purpose on this earth, daughter, is to be feminine. You need to rest in your divine feminine, and you need to make sure you put your husband and both of you, your legacies, your children, you need to put them first. So while you're here putting all this effort into studying and obtaining these degrees so you can cover yourself while your husband comes, you need to put just as much effort into finding that husband, or being in a position to be found, because women don't go find. They put themselves in a position to be found. So I want you to put just as much effort in your degree. I want you to get your MRS too. So just like you go get your BA, make sure you get your MRS. And when you meet that perfect man, you can get together, get married, and everything will be in harmony.
And then stop working.
And then if he wants you to do that, absolutely.
Okay. So now this daughter of yours, who's been studying up until she graduates with all these degrees, has invested a lot of time, energy, and potentially money, right? On getting these degrees and getting all these accolades. And now you're telling her, I'm pushing for you to not make use of any of that.
Absolutely.
What is the point? right? Because here's the deal, right? Because the same way you're saying they should put themselves out there to meet this husband and whatever, which I agree with that, because I think people who value being in a relationship in general should try and balance meeting people and cultivating relationships to help build, their romantic skills and romantic history, so they get familiar with how to be with someone. I agree with that. But at the same time, the amount of push you would give your son, if you're giving your daughter the same push, but then when she's done with all that in school, to tell her none of that's going to matter because you're going to be a stay-at-home wife, you're not going to be working, you're going to be taking care of kids, that is a waste of time. At that point, she might as well just go to high school and just learn how to read, because all she's going to be reading is, the nutritional facts on a Similac bottle. I don't know. Right? So to tell your daughter that, to me, is kind of like heartbreaking if you're going to allow her to go through. If you were to tell me, okay, Gabe, if you were to tell me you're going to tell your daughter, go to high school, be done with high school, and then focus on getting a man. Even though I wouldn't do that to my daughter, I wouldn't push that way, but that would at least make sense on your end, because they're not going to make use of any additional education in the first place if their primary goal is to find a man who's going to take care of them. But for you to say that they're going to go through the schooling anyway, I just don't understand the point.
Do you know most CEOs meet their wives in college?
Okay, so are you saying women should only be going to college to meet men?
They go to college to get their degree so they can take care of themselves, but they also go to college to meet a husband. Absolutely. These women that go to Yale, Harvard, Dartmouth, Brown, Princeton, Stanford, Emory, they're not going to a lot of, especially our counterparts, right? These women aren't necessarily going to school to get these high-powered degrees. They may be in these programs at these elite schools, but they go to these schools to find a husband a lot of time.
Okay.
We need to be honest about that too. So while my daughter may be in the engineering, and I hope to God she would not want to go to school for engineering, but let's just say she does, because that's the example you gave. While she's in the engineering department, she needs to be looking for her husband in the engineering department, because she will never be in a place where there are more qualified men in one area to be husbands ever in her life than she would be in college.
I agree, but to say that after she gets her degree, that she should put that on the shelf and not make use. I mean, to be a traditional housewife, she's not going to be a premier engineer. Okay,
that's fine. That's cool. But this is the thing. A lot of what she learned in school, she can pour that into her children. The house comes first. The house comes first.
She's not gonna use her engineering degree to pour into her kids that are 4 or 5 years old. What is she gonna do? She's gonna hold engineering classes for a 10-year-old?
Listen, you have to know how to read when you go to engineering school. You gotta know how to read. She can teach my kids how to read.
So she's gonna use an engineering degree just to teach her kids how to read.
Listen,
that's a waste of money, man. Engineering schools are not cheap.
I mean, this is the example you gave. I would hope my daughter would not go to engineering school.
Why would you hope that she wouldn't go into engineering school if that's what she wants to do?
For one, it's a masculine trade. It's a masculine trade. I would not recommend any woman to go to engineering school. It's masculine. You would need to do something that's more feminine. Go to nursing school, business school, something like that.
Okay, right? Let's do nursing. Let's do nursing. Right, sure. Let's do nursing. She wants to be a nurse. Yeah. Nursing could be very demanding. Okay. So if she's a nurse, are you going to tell her all the studying, money,
put it up? Yes.
Put it on the shelf. That is wild to me, bro. That is wild. I can't agree. I can't agree.
But again, we have all these CEOs when they go to school.
You keep mentioning CEOs. CEOs only make up.
You know what? We ain't gotta use CEOs. Most of these men, they go to Harvard Law, Yale Law, med school. They meet their wives in school. These are studies too.
And that's perfectly fine. But here's the deal, right? A majority of the men in the United States, right? And I hate using these stupid statistics, as I hear about it on multiple podcasts, multiple YouTube videos, and people are just saying these things ad nauseum, right? But whatever, we're here in the conversation. A majority of people, households in the United States as a whole, aren't making more than $50-something thousand a year. That's just what it is.
True.
Okay? Right. That's on the average. I don't know how many people there are on the planet. There are not the planet, the United States, right? But with the millions of people that exist in the
300 million.
300 million people in the United States, right? I would venture the guess that the people that are the examples you keep giving, which are like these, high earning men, they only make up like 5% of the population.
That's true. But this is the thing, brother. You don't have to. I use that example. You don't have to be this 7-figure man to be able to take care of your kids and your wife and allow your wife to stay home.
Okay.
See, a lot of folks, Nicole Michelle, shout out to her. She mentioned this. She said a lot of y'all need to move up out these cities. Everybody wants to be in the DMV, Atlanta, New York, LA, San Francisco. Come up out these big cities and go to some of these smaller cities where you can live off the 70, 65, 80 grand a year.
Okay.
That's what a lot of black folks need to do. And if you go to a Louisville, a Huntsville, a Montgomery, a Memphis, if you go to cities like a Little Rock, if you go to cities like this, sure, you might not be able to turn up every weekend, but who cares about turning up every weekend? You can have a family. So you raise your family in a smaller city with a lower cost of living. So that man, he may be starting out as an engineer, software engineer. He only makes $75K. Great. Let's move to Huntsville for a while. Let's work. Let's get your money up. And as you level up and move up, in the company, as you increase your income, as your stock portfolio increases, your crypto portfolio increases, when kids are older and we have more money, if we want to return to these bigger cities, we can. But people need to start being more family oriented. And there are too many advantages where women who stay home, there are so many advantages, not only for the woman, but for the man and the children. That's all I'm saying. These men don't have to be making all this money to allow her to stay home.
Here's the deal, right? The idea that men and women have like these specific obligations, I understand where they come from, but we also have to identify how we've evolved as a society economically, right? Not just socially, right? So when you're talking about the history of how we were brought up, the grandmas and the great grandparents and so on and so forth, the wife stayed at home and so on and so forth. The way the economy was set up, right? The way the economy was set up, you could raise a family on $6,000 a year. Okay. In the past, right? If you're talking just generations before, right? As we evolve, right? The cost to live has increased dramatically.
True.
Right? Of course, income has increased, but proportionately, the cost, you got to look up the statistics. The cost of living has increased where in order for a household, right, based on the average income of both men and women together, the household, in order to sustain the household financially, right, regardless which city you live in, because the money you make in that city will reflect the cost of living in that area, right? The cost to stay in that household comfortably oftentimes requires dual income, right? Dual income or a husband that can make twice as much as the average. But there's a reason it's the average, right? It's because the average man, the jobs that are available and how much they're paying won't support the kind of lifestyle that's required to live in an average household, right? So if the average household, okay, the average household is making, I want to look up the stats before the end of the show, is making around $50,000 a year or less.
Yeah, it's around 55. Yeah.
Right? Well, depending on where it is, but let's say around $50,000 a year, right? $50,000 a year. Let's say you got 2 kids, 3 kids, and a house and school and so on and so forth. I can't imagine that a guy's going to tell his woman, stop working. I'm going to support you. Right. Now we're going to be on basically at a poverty level trying to raise these kids. So what do you say to people who are in a position where they now have to tell their wife, stop working while my income doesn't even support, everything together by itself? Increase
your income.
Okay. And
if you have to work 2 jobs, work 2 jobs.
Okay. So you're telling a guy work 2 jobs.
If he has to. Listen, let me break this down. What amazes me about a lot of brothers, because this is a lot of the talk on Clubhouse right now, is it takes 2 incomes.
Okay.
You don't hear the other groups talk about it as much. You have some that do, but for the most part, they don't talk like this. I remember I was watching Gary Vee on an Instagram one time, and he made a video and he said, it has never been a time in history where it's easier to touch 100 grand. That's what our counterpart men are saying. Okay. We come over here to Black society, the men want to make excuses and complain. Oh, it take 2 incomes. And what I'm saying is Black women deserve better than you talking about it take 2 incomes I need for you to work. No, you need to increase your income. Instead of turning up, tricking your money off in your early 20s, you need to invest. There are kids online, these white kids, these Asian kids, these Hispanic kids. I watch them. I'm in the shoe game.
Okay.
And I watch a lot of these kids make $10, $15, $20,000 a month reselling sneakers, and they're children.
Yep.
I've gone to sneaker conventions where kids are hopping out their mom's car wearing Rolexes and gold chains. These kids are making $150,000 a year at 15 and 16 years old. There was a kid in the UK, 10 years old, made an NFT collection worth $450,000. And we have Black men that are so, instead of trying to get this game and increase their wealth so they can compete in this society, we're telling our women, we don't want to compete or we cannot compete.
Oh, wait. No, nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying that.
No. But what we're saying is too many Black men are reliant on women to be comfortable.
That's not even the argument.
No. Let's be honest.
Are you saying that's what I'm saying?
No, if it weren't, because you're saying it takes 2 incomes. That's what you're saying.
No. What I'm saying, no. What I'm saying is what you're pushing for, right? What you're pushing for is for men to be the sole breadwinners of their
yes,
right. But the people that you're giving as examples, right, make up a small fraction, regardless of what the demographics are. Right, they make up a small fraction of the population. If everybody made $100,000 a year, everybody would be poor. Okay, I'm gonna say it again. If everybody made $100,000 a year, everyone would be poor. You know why? The minute everybody makes $100,000 a year, every house is cost $1 million. Every house.
And what if I told you every man didn't deserve love?
What does that have to do with anything?
If a man is incapable of caring for his family, he doesn't need to be married. We got to stop the excuses, brothers. We have to stop the excuses. Other men aren't talking like this.
Okay.
We're the only group that do this. We need our women to work.
I disagree. But
keep our head above water. No,
I disagree.
If a woman wants to stay home and put her family first,
okay,
she should have that right.
And she should.
And as a man, you need to figure out what you need to do in order to provide. I had a client I talked to the other day. That woman, she's 27 years old. She makes $225,000 a year.
That's a modest income.
I have another client who is an attorney who makes $250,000 a year.
A woman you're talking about?
These are women.
Okay.
So when I'm starting to, none of my female clients make under 50K. None of them. Zero.
Okay. Got it.
On average, they're 6-figure. So you mean to tell me that these women can get out here and get these good jobs, these high income jobs, but these brothers are sitting over here talking about it take 2 incomes? They don't make no sense.
Again, you're giving examples of women that make up a very small fraction of the population.
Many men are making excuses. That's the point.
This is not about excuses. We're talking about the advice you would give to a larger population of people, right? You're telling every person that's in a marital situation or in a couple, whatever, their woman should stop working right now and let the man lead them in their financial adventure.
If that's what she wants.
Let's say if every woman today wants that, right?
They don't. But if they did,
right? They would. You telling them stop working, leave it up to the husband, figure it out, right? Yeah, and you're saying she should have that right, and everybody else that's in the man, hold on. Everybody else that is a man should have to hold themselves to a standard of now have to support this household, right? When, again, the high paying jobs, the high paying opportunities are only afforded to a fraction of people, regardless of what your demographics are. And I happen to be in a very expensive environment, right? I'm in New York City, so I know how expensive it is to live in New York City. And if every household, right, people said, okay, my wife, you no longer work, get rid of that, so on and so forth, get rid of that career, you're going to take care of kids, so on and so forth, right? You're saying all of a sudden, all these job opportunities to make more money would now be available to the men? Like, it should just be easy for them to find? Is that what you're saying? And then take care of your woman? Like, what are we talking about?
This is the thing. Seeking you shall find. And if men if they truly want to be traditional and they meet women that truly want to be traditional, they can find ways to provide that lifestyle. It's not really that hard, because in most cities, if you make 100K, 125, 100K, 125, 150, outside of NYC, San Francisco, LA.
Okay.
Out most cities, if you make that, that's why Kevin Samuels has the bar at 100K. If you make that in most places, you can live comfortably. Okay. If you are a man making under, I've said this, if you are a man making under 75K, you should not look to be married. It's not for you.
All right. So, okay, hold on. Time out. So you're saying as a man, you should only get married if you make $100,000 or above.
No, not I didn't say 100,000. I said 75.
Okay, fine. So you're saying if you're a man, you should only get married if you're making $75,000 or above. Okay, absolutely. Okay, fine. So that means 80% of people who are married today should not be married.
You know what the number one reason for divorce is? Hello.
Hold on for a second. Hold on for a second.
What's the number one reason for divorce?
You want me to say money? I get it. Money is a big factor, right? But it's not because the guy is not necessarily the high earner. There's a lot of no. Sometimes the reason why people get divorced about money, it's about the decisions around money. It's not just it's not because, oh, you're not making enough, I'm divorcing you. That is a factor, yes, but sometimes it's the decisions. People have incongruent values on how to spend money, like where to send this kid to school, what houses to buy, which bills, and so on and so forth. And there's always there's conflict there as well, right? So it's not just the quantity of money, right? There are plenty of people who are married and they make under $75,000 and they're happy and they're content, or they're flourishing, however you want to look at it. Not everybody. And there are plenty of people who are millionaires and miserable, right? So we're not going to talk about that as the reason. But my point is, if you're saying $75,000 or above, right? That means 80% of the people who are married right now should not be married at all.
Yes.
Right? Okay. So now you're saying you have to wait till you make $100,000 to be comfortably married to somebody because you're going to be supporting a household.
In most cities,
so everybody else should just be single, making $75,000 or below.
Too many people are living in poverty. We're struggling. We're stressed. And you should not be bringing kids in an environment where you can't even take care of yourself. Being married is a privilege. It should be reserved for people that qualify. And if you don't meet that qualifier, you shouldn't be getting married. I'm not gonna back off that. If you don't make, as a man, make $75K a year, you don't need to be looking to get married. You need to go somewhere, get you some skills so you can increase your prospects in this job market. So you can provide for your family. That's where your focus should be. Your focus should not be love and relationships. Everybody doesn't deserve love. I'm sorry. I know everybody feels like they're entitled to love.
Let me ask you a question. All right. I'm going to be blunt here. All right. If a woman is in a relationship with a man who makes, a boatload of money, right? More than the average, let's say more than comfortable, right? And she gets overweight, right? And she doesn't keep her shape and whatever the case may be. Does he have the right to leave her?
Yep.
Okay. If a man is in a relationship, he's making a boatload of money, he's with a pretty woman, so on and so forth, and then he loses his job and for whatever reason, his earning potential kind of goes down, right? does she have a right to leave him?
If he does not have a plan and if he does not figure it out in a timely manner, absolutely leave him.
Okay.
Because he is failing as your leader.
Got it.
He's leading you and your family. He's failing.
Now let's flip it. Right. Let's say a woman is in a relationship with a guy, right? And he's like in shape and he's like, good looking person and so on and so forth. Right. And he goes out of shape. Right.
Okay.
He's out of shape. Now he's slobby as all hell and he's not as attractive. Does she have a right to leave him?
Sure. Absolutely.
So she has a right to leave him for that. Right. Yeah. And vice versa. If a woman is making a certain amount of money because she's comfortable making, $200K, $1 million a year, whatever it is. And he is also making that amount of money, right? Equally. And she loses her job. She no longer is able to make that kind of money anymore. Does he have a right to leave her?
Depends. If you're in a modern dynamic, a modern relationship, sure, why not? If you want to rest in your femininity as a man, hey,
rest.
You ain't making enough money for me no more. Bye. Sure. Of course not. Why not?
The fact of the matter, I'm just highlighting the double standards that are very vivid in
absolutely.
And listen, I get that there are double standards, but in my mind, I feel as though there needs to be a spectrum of where that exists because we don't live in a bubble, right? We live in an environment that has a plethora of scenarios that are fitting to multiple people. And if you want to subscribe to a certain lifestyle, and that is great, you want to find a man or a woman that lives within that lifestyle and that's what you want, by all means. But to say that that's the only way to push a society forward, I think that's a false narrative, right? So in your situation, like how old are you right now?
34.
You're 34. Okay. Are you in a relationship right now?
I was. I'm not now. I'm single now.
You're single now. Okay. Have you ever been married?
No.
Okay. In your relationships, what is it that you feel like you haven't found that keeps you single at 34?
Well, a lot. I mean, listen, my thing is this: when you're young, I don't think men aren't really ready to be married before 35 anyway. But that's a whole nother conversation.
Okay.
As far as what my partners are, I have met a couple women that I think were qualified to be wives. It was just a wrong, right person, wrong time situation.
What do you think you could have done different to make it the right situation?
That's a good question. I don't know. For as far as me, maybe be more attentive, more vigilant, more aware. A lot of men, we tend to be absent-minded. I think in my last relationship, that possibly is what it was.
Okay.
Well, it wasn't a money issue. It wasn't a we didn't get along issue. I mean, I still love her. She still loves me. It just wasn't the right time.
Okay.
And that's okay. So she was doing her own thing. She has a lot going on. I got a lot going on. I'm building a platform. I'm building a brand. I'm building, something that I may possibly could pass on to my children, my daughter, my son. So we just had a lot going on. I don't think it was anything I did. I don't think it was anything she did. It just wasn't the right time. And it's my prayer that maybe one day God will allow us to come back together and get married. Because I felt like she was a wife and she felt like I was a husband. It wasn't the right time.
Okay, so let's imagine a scenario. You meet a woman. She's a high earning woman. She makes like $200,000-$300,000 a year. I hate using these stupid numbers, but screw it, right? We're here. So she makes plethora of dollars, right? And she meets you and she says, I'm going to continue working.
Okay.
Right. And that's my choice. And I want you to do whatever it is you feel is your choice. And if that is to continue to work, that's great. And you guys come up with the plan together to look out for these kids in the most healthy and efficient way between the two of you. Right. And you guys are now going to be making together $500,000 a year, whatever that is. Right. And she loves you and she's gorgeous. Right. She keeps herself in shape. She makes, $200,000-$300,000 a year. Would you be with that woman and let her be in whatever space she is career wise?
No.
So you're gonna let her go, and we're talking. She's Holly Berry fine, whatever fine is, right? And mind you, she respects you, right? She looks out for you. She's gonna be like your number one partner in crime. You're gonna say no to her.
Yeah, this is my thing. I don't think that is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for,
and I respect it. I just want to I want to know to what level of what you're looking for. That's why I'm asking the question.
No, this is the thing, right? I tend to date a lot of women that are creatives. So I've dated actresses, singers, things like that. And if she was doing something that was her purpose, meaning if she acted or she sang and she made that kind of money, then sure, I would date a woman like that. But when we start to have children, I want her to be at home at least for the first few years. No,
I get that. Okay.
No touring, none of that.
Okay.
And she's making all that money. None of her money is gonna go to our household. I'm gonna pay that cost to be the boss because I like to run stuff.
That's
right.
That's fine. That's fine. If you're saying you want her to be at home for the first couple years, if that's that, but indefinitely, if she wants to go to work again and contribute to the household, would you allow her to contribute to the household?
Women, no, I don't want my woman contributing to the household. Even though
she's making if she's making $300,000 a year, right, and you're making 100 to 150K, whatever the hell that is, right? You live in a house that costs $200,000, but because of her income, you guys can afford a $500,000 to $1 million home. You're gonna say no. We're not gonna elevate with your money. We're only gonna elevate with my money. That's what you're gonna say.
You can invest that money. You know, I'm good with investment.
So, but you would
invest that money. But talking about paying the house note or let me put half the money up for the house. No.
I'm saying you now qualify to put your kids in a better school, in a better house, better neighborhood with her money. But you're telling her she's not able to use that money because it's coming from her. So that kids are gonna stay in the same neighborhood.
She can pay. If she wants, my kids are gonna go private school anyway, right?
Regardless, if whether they go to the private school or not, if the money to get them there will require her money,
I don't want her money.
I feel you. If your money's not enough, you're gonna keep the kids.
It will be.
I'm saying
if it's not enough, we gonna stay where our money is enough.
No, you're gonna say where your money is enough, not where
my money. Yeah,
where your money. But if she can so you're saying if she has the power to elevate you as a couple, as a community, you're gonna say no because it's not coming from you.
Because the woman
that's my problem. I have a problem with that.
The woman
I got a problem with that.
So this is why black women don't respect a lot of black men, because a lot of dudes want to kind of play that game, and I don't play that game. I don't want her money. I don't need her money.
Okay.
Her money is irrelevant to our dynamic. If she's making $500,000 a year, again, I dated women that acted and sang. If she was making $500,000, we had these conversations. If she's a millionaire because her career takes off, I don't care. Use that money. Put that in. You can put that money in a crypto portfolio, stock portfolio, crazy. 529. You can put that money in 401k. You could put that money to use real estate, all other kinds of places. But when it comes to my family, I'm going to be the leader. I'm going to have the final say so in the home. And in order to do that, I have to pay that cost to be the boss. And I'm going to pay for everything. I don't care about her money. I don't want her money. She can do what she pleases with her money.
Listen, I certainly hope that mindset works for you, because I know it works for a lot of people. I'm not going to push that towards everyone, because everybody's got a different
they do.
Everybody's got a different mindset and agenda and goals and different ways of like reaching certain goals. And some people are aware of like economic changes as well as social changes that are impacting.
I'm aware too.
I'm not saying you're not. I'm saying other people who don't fall in the realm of those expectations have a different awareness, and I don't want to use the word conform, but they are using that awareness to kind of help improve how they communicate with the opposite sex, how they communicate with the rest of their society, how they communicate with their kids in terms of the type of expectations. And if you were to ask me, I have the capacity for both, but at the same time, I'm not going to tell my woman your money's useless, right? Because that's unrealistic, right? If especially hold on. You're not. No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if my kids, right? If my kids have an opportunity to be even further, even though I might take them to the moon by myself, but if they can make it to the stars because of my wife or woman or whatever, I'm not going to tell my kids, hey, listen, I could make a decision right now that will bring you to the stars, but I'm not going to do that because I only want to do it my way. And that might limit you. But because I get to do it my way, that's the only thing that matters. I just don't agree with that. And I feel like that's what you're pushing. And I'm not like passing judgment. Like,
you need her money.
Huh?
That's so you need the woman's money. Listen, brother, if you need that woman's money, just say that. If you need her money, just say. A lot of black men need these women's money.
I think you're missing the point, but
no, I'm not missing the point at all. This is what I'm saying. If my woman is making $500,000 a year,
and you're making 150,
and I'm making 150,
yes,
I'm gonna bear most of. I'm gonna pay the house and all that. That's gonna be on me. But if she's making, I just said, she can invest.
You're making 150,000 a year, and your woman's making $500,000. You won't let her bring the kids to a better school that you can't afford. You won't let her do that.
No, because I don't need her money.
I'm saying if she wants to bring the kids to a better school because she makes $500,000, you only make 150. You gonna tell her no? You gonna tell her leave the kids at the lower school?
I said this earlier. I said that if she wanted to invest in the kids' college tuition, hell, if she wants to send them to a private school, we could do that. I said that earlier. Yeah, but I'm not opposed to that.
You kind of changed your tone. That's not what you said earlier.
No. You're putting words in my mouth because you're not listening. Because you want to prove a point. I said if she wants to send the kids I said this earlier. I said if she wants to send them to private school, she can. But that up and moving, and then because see, a lot of you dudes, a lot of you Negroes, y'all think y'all slick, and these women. That's why I give the women this game, because y'all think y'all slick. You guys, a lot of dudes cannot afford this luxury lifestyle if it's not for their woman. That's what this is really about. Y'all put it on the kids and putting the kids in better school.
That means a woman who makes $500,000 a year should never get married.
Y'all want a bigger house so you can have your man cave in the basement, and you need your woman's money to do that. I don't. And if my woman made that kind of money, and I only made 150, which that's not gonna be my cap. I know that.
I feel you.
Let's just say that was all I made. I don't need that woman's money contributing to the household, meaning the rent, mortgage, and all the bills associated with that house. That's what I'm saying. If she wants to,
so your biggest concern is the house. That's what it sounds like.
Exactly.
So your biggest concern is the house. So you just want to be able to afford the house by yourself because you feel like that is indicative of what being a man is. You just want to pay for the house. All the other bills, you saying she's cool with paying for, like school.
No, I didn't say if she wants to send the kids because I want to send my kids to private school.
Okay.
So I will make enough money where I could send those kids to private school.
Okay, but she wants to go to the most elite. If she wants to bring the kids to the most elite, private schools, but you can't afford it with the money.
Right. And if I couldn't afford it, yeah, she could do that.
Okay. Sure. And if she wants her kids to have a certain lifestyle, right? Certain amount of trips. She wants to expose the kids to like Europe, Indonesia, go to Australia and do that, right? And if she has the money, because 150K is not going to do that on a regular basis.
Still need her money.
No. What I'm saying is,
still need her money.
What I'm saying is, you're saying she can spend it on the kids as long as it's not on the household. Right, so she's gonna take those kids on the
529 college funds, trust funds. She can take that money and invest it there.
Okay. Bottom line is to me, I look at the household beyond just the house.
Y'all think y'all slick, and I hope the women that are listening to this podcast are listening to this. Y'all dudes play these little word games.
Oh God, you kill me.
I look at it beyond just the household. Then she gets her little behind in there, and then there you go talking about, so we got to split the rent. Y'all think y'all slick, but I'm here to
listen, Gabe, I like how you took it there, bro.
Y'all think y'all slick. Y'all ain't slick. I know this game.
Listen, Gabe, Gabe, listen, I truly, and in all due respect, I truly value your opinion, right? I truly value the fact that you hold strong in your position. I think that's a very good like character to like be consistently strong in something and not sway. And if that's what you wholeheartedly believe in, I respect you for it. I get it, right? Me personally, I don't believe in that wholeheartedly, although there are some places in the conversation where I think we do align. I do think that there is strength in taking care of the kids and making sure they're tended to and not just pawn them off to like babysitters and stuff like that. I do agree that, yeah, that is something that needs to be put into place. However, how we get there might be a different mindset for a multitude of reasons. So with all due respect, I agree to disagree with a lot of the things you say, and I'm not judging you as a man, as a your character as a whole because of it. It's just a discussion about, you know, differences in how we want to live our lives and how we see life as a whole. Do you agree with that statement?
Yeah. Listen, this is the thing. And I started off the conversation saying this, and I stick by this. Everybody does not qualify for this lifestyle.
Sure.
The lifestyle you're talking about, that's what a lot of people are going to qualify for.
Okay.
A lot of women are earning a lot of money these days.
Okay.
And a lot of women, like that scenario you gave, they're going to want to be in a real nice house, and they ain't going to want to hear that a man tell her, well, let's just do it off my income. No, because she's going to want to live a certain lifestyle. She's going to want to drive a certain car. She wants the kids to go to a certain school. I get that. A lot of black folks are going to be modern. Okay.
Okay.
I am talking to a specific group of people. I'm talking to men who make a certain amount of money and have a certain kind of values. And I'm talking to women who look a certain way and have a certain kind of values. That's my audience right there.
That's beautiful, man. With that said, listen, I want you to tell everybody how they can reach you. I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. I hope you did too.
Yes, sir, no doubt, man. I did. This was good.
This was good. Listen, I like the fire. I like the heat. I like the opposing mindsets. And I think it just opens people's minds up to like the different realms within a spectrum. So tell people the best way to find you. And if you have any like programs or any shows coming up that they can reach you.
Sure. Yeah, I appreciate this. Again, it doesn't have to be disrespectful.
Oh no, I don't think you disrespected anybody or me. I think you're very respectful. You just have strong opinions, and I do as well, and I appreciate the strength in the conversation. So tell people where they can find you.
You guys can find me on Instagram at Ultimate Black Man, Twitter Ultimate Black Man, and you can find me on Clubhouse under my name, Gabriel Bell. It is at Ultimate Black Man. I also have a YouTube channel, Ultimate Black Man Radio. I'm going to start posting videos on there again. I also have a podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you find your podcasts. I just dropped an episode last week, and I'm actually getting ready to record and edit another one. So I'm going to be doing that. I'll drop those every Thursday at 12 noon. Be sure to like the podcast, follow it, leave a rating on those podcast platforms. And that's where I can be found. I also do consultations. I have clients. I do one-on-ones in regards to your relationships, even investments, crypto. You can book a session for that. The link is in my bio on my Instagram page, as well as my Clubhouse bio. The link is there as well.
Okay, beautiful. My name is Jeff Damisse. You can find me at j.damisse for IG or j_damisse for Twitter. You can find Introspect Club on IG, Introspect_club. That's for IG, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. You name it. Make sure you guys log in for all the episodes. Shoot me a DM if you have any questions that you want me to ask the guest or ask me that I'll probably answer on the show. And if you are a person who lives a very interesting, unique life and you've had interesting experiences that other people can learn from, please make sure to reach out to me. I might be able to get you on the show. Until next time, Gabe, this was great, man. Thank you.
I appreciate it, man. Look forward to doing it again. Thank you for having me.
Right on.